This is Earth, 335 million years ago. I wasn't around then, but there's just one supercontinent, Pangaea. See? Let's watch it shift around and fast forward. Okay, here we go. It just split into two huge pieces. Australia goes this way, North and South America go that way. Africa, Asia, Europe, forming, and there we go. The planet as it is today. Let's keep going. I mean, the continents are always on the move. Over time, some of them will crash into each other. Others will break apart. But that'll take about 100 million years. Better put it on super fast forward. 100 years from now, humans keep spitting carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, and the planet's already warmed up a bunch. The world's ocean levels have risen about 4 feet. The Bahamas? They've totally disappeared. 200 years from now, the Earth's population is about 19 billion people. The climate's gotten even warmer. We're packed in like sardines over here. New medical tech makes it possible to live to 180. But why? Fossil fuel reserves of oil and gas? Long gone. Oh, and the continents have drifted over 16 feet. The Voyager 1 space probe's about to enter an asteroid cloud at the edge of the solar system. It's the most distant man-made object in the universe, I guess. 1,000 years from now, thanks to better quality food, humans are now 7 feet tall on average. Technology solved the pollution and fuel shortage problem. Humanity's doing just fine. Robots do all the work, we just play around all day. Ocean levels have crept up another 10 feet. Islands like the Seychelles, Maldives, Galapagos, and many others have gone underwater. Denmark, the Netherlands, Eastern England, Thailand, and Vietnam are only partially underwater. There's been a huge human migration these last 100 years. Fast forward about 5,000 more years, and it's the year 8113. Humanity's getting ready to open the crypt of civilization. It's a hermetically sealed room in Georgia, in the States. Bad Georgia. It was created in 1940, and it's full of about 800 books on microfilm, recordings of famous people's voices. It's also filled with bits of technology from that time, like a toaster, a radio, and a typewriter. Some awesome people created the crypt of civilization in case humans experienced a major catastrophe in the distant future and had to rebuild civilization from scratch. We'd all go back to using typewriters. 15,000 years from now, our planet has changed its tilt, and the Sahara Desert is now a tropical paradise. Years of rain turn the dry desert into a wild jungle. 30,000 years from now, the Voyager 1 space probe has finally left the asteroid cloud at the edge of our solar system. If it doesn't collide with anything, it'll be flying in the dark, wide-open outer space for a very long time. 50,000 years from now, the climate's changing a lot. The temperature on Earth is beginning to drop, and we are approaching the beginning of a new ice age. The radio signal with a special "Hello, all you aliens out there" message sent into space in 1974 has reached its destination. The message contained the human number system and data about our DNA and our solar system. If there was someone on the other end to receive this signal, we might have a response from them. 100,000 years from now, one of the largest known stars in our galaxy, Canis Majoris, explodes with enormous force. The explosion of this supernova can be seen from Earth, even during the day, and the nights are much brighter because of the new strong glow in the night sky. What's new on Earth? Supervolcanoes start erupting all over. These volcanoes spew colossal amounts of lava and ash everywhere. Thick black clouds cover most of the sky. This prevents the sun's rays from reaching the ground, and the temperature on our planet drops even lower. Humans mostly live underground anyway, so it's no big deal. Because the stars are gradually moving in different directions, the usual constellations are starting to change shape. Soon, we'll need to come up with totally new constellation names. 250 years from now. Oh, a new island's on the map. Back in 2021, it was just an underwater volcano somewhere in the Pacific. After thousands of years of spouting out lava, it finally reached the ocean surface and busted out in the cool, fresh air. Not much growing on it yet. Niagara Falls has long since disappeared, and Lake Erie and Lake Ontario have teamed up to form one huge superlake. 300,000 years from now, the triple star system WR-104 is about to explode. It's spinning crazy fast, and there's a chance that radiation from the explosion could eventually reach Earth. That would do a lot of damage to all life on our planet. Voyager 1 reaches the brightest star in the night sky, Sirius. Not a very funny star at all, it's really Sirius. It's 8.6 light-years from Earth. 500,000 years from now, scientists are pretty sure that a huge meteorite could fall to Earth any day now. It might be even the size of 8 football fields. The impact of such a massive meteorite would cause an explosion so powerful that its sound would be heard on every continent. That would be followed by super strong earthquakes and tsunamis higher than the Brightside Empire municipal building tower thingy. Okay, I just made that up, but who knows what we'll be building in the future. 1 million years from now, the rogue star Gliese 710 comes very close to our solar system. We're surrounded by a huge shield of asteroids called the Oort cloud, and the rogue star is beginning to affect the asteroids hanging out in there. It grabs them, spins them around, and throws them toward the center of our solar system. Comets start to fall on our planet all the time, big ones, causing more tsunamis and earthquakes. 10 million years from now, the Red Sea is gradually expanding into the East African Rift. Africa is now divided in two by a new oceanic gulf. The human DNA molecule has completely decomposed. But it's no big deal. We've become totally digital, without any pesky aging problems. The really cool thing is that other animals have evolved a lot and changed ridiculously. Thanks to a simple interface, we're actually able to talk to dolphins, chimps, dogs, and cats. Turns out cats aren't grumpy, they're just busy contemplating life. 25 million years from now. The San Andreas Fault has been crazy recently and has caused the Gulf of California to flood the Central Valley. There's a new sea on the west coast of North America. 50 million years from now, Africa just collided with Eurasia. The Mediterranean Sea is totally gone. There's a new tallest mountain in the world. Its name? Mount Everest, of course. Australia is continuing its journey north. It already collided with Southeast Asia a few million years ago. The few human colonies still left on Mars need to do some serious packing. Phobos, one of Mars' moons, is beginning to orbit at a lower and lower altitude. That's not good. It's about 14 miles wide, so that's going to be unpleasant. 60 million years from now, the Canadian Rocky Mountains have completely eroded. It's just one gigantic flat plain. 80 million years from now, all that remains of Hawaii is one island. All the others have long since gone underwater. But just next door, a whole new chain of Hawaiian islands has emerged. Finally, 100 million years from now, we made it! The Atlantic shrinking down to nothing. The Americas are almost rubbing up against Africa. Africa's already merged with Eurasia. We've got ourselves a supercontinent again. Hello, Pangaea Proxima. All traces of human life are gone or buried deep underground. The movement of the continents has destroyed tunnels, roads, buildings, bridges. Animals and plants now reign supreme on Earth. So, where are all the humans? Well, remember we made the jump to digital about 90 million years ago? Things are still going strong. There are trillions of human minds living on a huge hard drive on a spaceship orbiting Earth. The super low space temperature is good for keeping the drive nice and cool. We have millions of different societies, languages, and cultures, just like we had 100 million years ago. The only difference? We're all little ones and zeros in a huge digital universe that we created. And yes, there's still football. You were lucky to find that 6x6 foot apartment after all. None of your friends own one. They mostly live in capsule modules where it's only possible to sleep without turning and tossing much. The price for what they call a mansion today is obscenely high, and you still fully can't accept it. Tomorrow, you gotta sign that contract and make the down payment. Actually, you had the chance to buy it only because you won that chance in the lottery. This is how you live in $29.99, you and the other 100 billion people. Some people, though, invest in numerous new millennium apartment blocks on other planets. The latest real estate trend is to downshift somewhere on Ross 128b, Mars, or even Saturn. You were thinking about it too, but you just love the Earth's atmosphere and nature too much. While you're sipping your morning coffee, a pop-up advertisement hologram instantly fills all the space in your capsule and it just won't disappear. Dear Earthen, don't miss out on the chance to change your life once and for all. Check out the newest apartment blocks on Ross 128b, Mars, Europa, and Saturn. Invest in your new housing and brand new life. Bus tours available daily. Suddenly, you realize this spam might be your chance. You still have some time before signing that contract. You've got nothing to lose. It's just a one-day tour. After all, 11 light-years from Earth to Ross 128b aren't a big deal now. Just a couple of hours on that space bus the agency provides. You'll go there and see that there's no place like Earth, just to make sure you've made the right choice. You rush to the space bus station, and you're just in time. 3, 2, 1, go. The bus pulls out, and 2 hours later, you're already there on Ross 128b. Wow. It looks like a bit of old-fashioned Earth you've seen in scientific presentations at university. The surface is rocky with some green spots. These must be the forests and meadows scientists are trying to introduce. It does have an atmosphere, although artificial. The real estate agent says it's actually good. No unpredicted weather anymore. Everything is controlled by the dwellers. The only inconvenience is that the better the weather is, the heftier bill you're going to get next month. The UV protection is essential on Ross 128b. Its index is 38% higher than on Earth, so a regular sunscreen turns out pretty helpless. They say this planet is like the Earth twin, but you kind of disagree. There's some vegetation, but it all looks so weird, you feel like you're in a computer game. Next to the apartment block, there's an orchard and a small farm producing organic food for the locals, so you decide to pop in and check how it works. The fruits and vegetables look so odd there. You realize this must be an apple tree, but it has microchips instead of flower buds, and the fruit are cubical. There are apples of all of the rainbow colors. You go forward and stumble on a small rock, one of the few things that belonged to this planet originally and weren't imported from Earth. A butterfly lands on the tip of your nose. You want to touch it, but as soon as your fingers reach it, the insect disperses in numerous pixels. The real estate agent runs up to you, helping you stand back on your feet. She says all the fauna on the planet is still represented in a form of holograms, because transferring it all from Earth doesn't seem possible at the moment. All the fauna elements are tightly connected together, and even the smallest butterfly can make a dramatic difference. With the money you have for the down payment on Earth, you can afford a 2-story apartment on this planet. The only problem is tiring commuting to work every single day. Come on, y'all, Mars is ahead. We still have a lot of apartment blocks to show you. Ah, that's the real estate agent calling you. You hop on that bus and sometime later you land on Mars. By $29.99, it looks just spectacular, but a bit too sandy. The scientists still can't bring liquid water to this planet, even though the atmosphere is completely fine. The planet's too warm now because they tried to make it habitable. Even though there are glaciers, all the water instantly turns to gas because of the heat. You spot some large machines up in the sky. The real estate agent says these are some essential pieces of equipment that trap the gas water up in the sky to make Martian pouched water. She hands one pouch to you to try it out. Looks like an air balloon. Weird. You inhale it and you've never tasted anything like this before, and you still can't understand how that gas quenched your thirst. The main plants on Mars are cacti of all forms. They adapted perfectly to its atmosphere, and scientists even managed to blend other plant genes with those of cacti. These tall plants are a Martian type of maple. You can tell it looking at the leaves. Here, there are some pears growing on that large cactus, and you can see mangoes, avocados, and fruits of all kinds. They seem to be thriving. The sun's shining, and they're surrounded by water in the form of gas. It almost feels like home here. While Ross 128b still has to be developed, it's been over 200 years since the first ranch on Mars was made. The real estate is pricier here though, so you can only afford a nice studio apartment. Looks like a bargain, but it's time to visit another planet. You're headed to Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. You've been to this planet last year on vacation, and you loved it a lot. 1,000 years ago, the scientists thought there was water under its icy crust, and they were right. The crust melted, forming a huge ocean twice the size of Earth's world ocean. and the planet itself has been undergoing various changes over the last millennium. All the cracks it had on its smooth surface form many small continents. All of them were named after European countries, but you have enough time to visit only one of them, Italy. The continent is surrounded by azure water, and there are endless fragrant lemon trees. People cook pizza with freshly grown tomatoes, though they're as large as Earth's watermelons. One tomato is enough for 2 pizzas. You look through the Europa brochure to get more information about other continents. On Norway, there are mountains looking very much like Norwegian fjords. On France, there are endless lavender fields. And on the continent of Greece, there are large farms with olive trees. You close the brochure, realizing that real estate here is almost as pricey as back on Earth. No wonder too many people want to live there. Time's up, you've got one more planet ahead. The bus is about to land and there's an announcement. Welcome to Saturn. Put on your swimming masks and dive in to see our ultimate apartment block. The scientists spent over 250 years trying to solidify Saturn, but it was in vain. In the end, they decided to try making the first settlements back in the 2980s when you were a kid. The gravity on Saturn is a bit stronger than on Earth, which allowed scientists to construct large complexes under domes for people to dwell there. In the depths of Saturn's gas oceans, there's a wide variety of fauna – jellyfish, octopuses, even sharks. They look a bit different, trying to adapt to their life on another planet. Their fins look way larger to help them handle incredibly strong winds of 1,100 miles an hour. But the most incredible part is the flora. Saturn's algae come in at least 3,000 different colors, at least the brochure says so. You can also regulate their intensity and shade with a remote. 2 hours later, you're back in your capsule. You keep tossing in your bed, it's the last night here. Tomorrow is the big day, but you're still in 2 minds. You saw that studio apartment on Mars in your dreams. You ate Martian pancakes topped with cactus maple syrup. The alarm goes off. Congratulations! You're now the owner of your own apartment on Earth. Very few people can make it in $29.99, Mr. Sanders. You're holding a set of keys in your hand. A notification beeps on your phone. Lease your apartment on Earth and move to Mars. You won't ever have to work again. You can't help it and begin to smile. A space settlement floating out there in the cosmos. It's not sci-fi. But, as always, there is a catch. Look at this tiny deserted asteroid. It may look lonely and barren, but if you peek inside, you'll see life blooming inside of it. These days, many people now live right inside these asteroids. It's not sci-fi. According to researchers, we might be able to create futuristic cities the size of Manhattan on gigantic space rocks. Of course, there's a catch. The asteroid we choose as our base has got to be at least 1,000 feet wide. Though it's weird why life is inside this asteroid and not on its surface. You see, we can't really live right on asteroids. That's because we're not the little prince who indeed lived on an asteroid, according to the plot, but because there's too little gravity and too much radiation for us to handle if we chill outside. There are possible theoretical ways to stay on the surface, but it's going to be extravagant. So the only option is living inside asteroids. Nothing screams wildly theoretical like building an asteroid city. Living in space without any gravity isn't as romantic as it sounds. Researchers show that when people spend too much time in zero gravity, things start getting weird. Their eyeballs pop out, retinas detach, muscles shrink, and bones become as fragile as a potato chip. But imagine this, a space settlement floating out there in the cosmos. If you've watched enough sci-fi, you'd picture a massive structure spinning round and round. It spins to create gravity for all the lucky folks living inside. There's an actual prototype of this wizardry, the O'Neill cylinder. This device is named after physicist Gerard O'Neill, who came up with the idea for NASA in the 70s. Now, there isn't a ton of data on this, but humans need roughly 1/3 of Earth's gravity to function properly. An O'Neill cylinder may not be able to generate massive amounts of gravity, but the genius behind it, Mr. O'Neill himself, designed them to spin around their long axis. This device creates a gravity-like force called centrifugal force. So, if we ever get to use that, we'll be living happily on the inner surface of the cylinder, feeling pulled downward away from the center. But, as always, there is a catch. When the team crunched the numbers, they realized that the asteroids would break apart way before they could reach the speeds necessary to keep us grounded. And to make matters worse, most of these asteroids were more like loosely assembled piles of rock than a solid chunk. The small ones, like less than 6 miles across, are a mix of sand, pebbles, rocks, and boulders. They're all held together by the weak force of their own gravity. If you were to spin one of these asteroid buddies, all those parts would go flying off into space. Not cool. However, scientists didn't give up and they elaborated on the idea. They needed to find a way to keep the asteroids together. They played around with different ideas and they produced something crazy. Now, if you were to carry all your personal belongings every day right in your hands, at some point, the situation would be out of your control. You'd have to collect all your stuff from the floor. But you're smart and you carry a bag, right? Well, it seems that if we want to control an asteroid, all we need is a ginormous bag. But not just any bag, a massive, flexible, and super lightweight mesh bag made from teeny-tiny carbon nanofibers. These fibers are like tubes that are only a few atoms wide, but boy are they strong. So once we've got this cylinder-shaped bag all set up, we can start slowly spinning the asteroid using rocket motors deep within the rubble. And as it spins faster and faster, it'll start flinging all those pebbles, rocks, and boulders. And guess what? The carbon nanowire webbing is going to go flying out with them. This bag will be expanding and expanding until it reaches its absolute limit. And then the rubble inside slams into the now super tight webbing. It's like a crazy explosion of debris compacting together to create this massive hollow cylinder made entirely of concrete. Once all the dust settles, you can build entire towns, cities, parks, and even farmland on the inside of the cylinder. It's like something straight out of O'Neill's designs. You can even enclose the whole inner surface with a transparent roof. Outside of this incredible living area, you've got these thick concrete walls that are like superhero shields protecting against radiation. So not only do you have this space to live in, but you're also super safe from any harmful stuff outside. We still don't have this magic bag, as those magic carbon nanowires aren't mass-produced yet. But scientists claim that, according to the laws of physics, a tiny asteroid, like a few football fields put together, can be transformed into 22 square miles of living space. As of now, about 1.5 million people are living in Manhattan, and there are like tens of thousands of asteroids just hanging around in our solar system. You do the math. Seems like everyone will have a sweet spot to crash in space. Building a city in space is no easy feat. The main challenge still is to create a self-sustaining closed system that can keep going for the long haul. You see, cities on Earth rely on a much larger area to survive than just their own boundaries. But in space, the farther away from external resources a space city is, the more it needs to close its loops for oxygen, water, and food. Take the ISS, for example. It's about 40% efficient in recycling oxygen, but even then, its CO2 levels are always sky high. NASA is on the case, though, trying to figure out how to magically turn that CO2 back into oxygen. Once we've tackled the basics, like protecting ourselves from radiation, dealing with pesky gravity, and finding some air to breathe, it's time to get creative in space. Enter 3D printing and rocket engines, the dynamic duo that will pave the way for space settlements. With 3D printing, we can kiss goodbye to relying on Earth for spare parts. We'll simply whip them up locally, cutting out the middleman. We can even use 3D printers to whip up a delicious pizza in a couple of minutes. Of course, we'll need some fresh ingredients, but your dinner might just be a push button away in space. To truly thrive out there, we'll need to tap into the riches of asteroids. These celestial treasures are bursting with raw materials, perfect for creating solar arrays, building materials for our colonies, and so much more. And let's not forget about comets. These icy wonders are like cosmic water fountains. providing us with precious H2O for drinking, bathing, and even shielding ourselves from radiation. Plus, we can use that water to produce hydrogen and oxygen for rocket fuel and fuel cells. So, let's say we pull this off. Can you imagine people living or born in space might end up being different from you and me? Like if humans can have babies up there, these space colonies might develop some cool cultures. They might even come up with their own languages, and get this, they could even evolve new physical traits. It's wild to think that just after 300 years, a colony of 2,000 people could look and act so differently from us. They might have different hair textures, skin types, and even be taller or more slender to deal with that low-gravity situation. We might even develop new organs to protect us from cosmic rays, or we'll have gill-like structures to breathe carbon dioxide. Hey, I know, it sounds crazy, but these scientists are working on developing these carbon nanotubes as we speak. So maybe one day we'll be living it up on our very own asteroid crib. It might seem like asteroid cities are just too far-fetched, but let's take a trip back in time for a moment. In 1900, no one had ever flown in an airplane. But today, thousands of people are zooming through the sky, comfortably seated in chairs, traveling at hundreds of miles an hour high above the ground, unaware that their luggage is on another plane going to a different destination. Ah well.
You're inside a small spaceship. You're flying higher and higher, then leave the atmosphere of our planet. Hundreds of thousands of satellites with glowing advertising banners appear in front of you. One of them says, "Happy New Year, 5699. This year you have an anniversary. You will be 5,000 years old." You press a button on the touch panel and activate the ad block. Now you can't see any holographic banners through the glass. You're going to make a jump through space. A black tunnel called a wormhole appears in front of the ship. You fly inside and the hole disappears. The ship has teleported to the Andromeda Galaxy. You discovered an exoplanet here recently, similar to Earth. It's also blue, has a lot of water, but only one huge continent. The planet is hidden in dense interstellar clouds, and you hope that other people won't find it soon. But as soon as it's entered into the intergalactic register, you'll definitely buy this planet. You call it second home. Now you're flying into the atmosphere, going through the clouds, and landing on a small green hill. At the foot of it, you see several small houses made of clay and stone and thatched roofs. Near the houses, locals are working in simple clothes. They're plowing the ground, and cows are eating the grass nearby. You have turned on your stealth mode, so the locals can't see you. They aren't real people. You created them using cloning technology. The conditions on this planet are now the same as they were on real Earth in the year 699, the year when everything changed for you. You remember swimming in the lake at night and looking at the stars. One star moved from its place and began to approach. A huge flash of light and something heavy fell into the water. You lost consciousness and woke up in the morning on the shore. Only 1,000 years later, you realized it was a meteorite. The day after the star fell, you noticed that any damage on your body instantly disappeared. After a couple of decades, you realized that you get older slower than the rest of the people in your village. After another 50 years, you understood that you didn't age at all. Knights, Vikings, the Dark Middle Ages, the geniuses of the Renaissance. You see it all with your own eyes. You become an emperor of a huge empire, and then you get bored and decide to live in the slums to feel all the shades of this life. You think that some magic gave you immortality, but then you realize that any magic or sorcery is really science. You communicate with the greatest minds on the planet, make friends with incredibly bright people, and really bad ones to understand the nature of humans. Around the 15th century, you've got all the knowledge and read all the books that people could give you by this time. You begin to explore the world yourself. You discover the process of photosynthesis in plants, grasp the fundamental laws of physics, conduct amazing chemical experiments, and find out that you live on a tiny planet in an infinitely vast universe. Biology, chemistry, physics, astronomy, you learn and explore everything. The results of your scientific research in these subjects are ahead of humanity by 100 years. While the whole world is riding horses, you're already building a car with a steam engine. To hide your identity from people, you constantly change your name and place of residence. Over 1,000 years, you have learned all the languages of the world, and even those that no longer exist. You study all the psychologically known personality types. Your social and emotional intelligence is so developed that you can create a person's portrait after 1 minute of talking to them. You look into their eyes and understand what they want, are afraid of, or are ashamed of. You spend several years in continuous meditation to calm your mind and gain wisdom. You lead the life of a hermit and watch humanity slowly develop. But then, the 20th century comes, and the life of the entire planet changes dramatically. The Industrial Revolution, the first cars and trains, cinema, radio, and television. In these 100 years, people are changing more than they have in the previous 1,500 years. Now, it's hard for you to keep up with the world. New inventions appear every day and every hour. The knowledge and experience of previous years help you become one of the most influential people on the planet. World leaders listen to your opinion. Thanks to your developed communication skills, you can negotiate with any person. You go through expensive and high-quality plastic surgery operations so that no one will recognize you. You keep moving and getting a new ID every 20 years. You have a lot of money, as well as gold and other valuable metals that you've collected for centuries. You build houses and shelters in the most beautiful places on the planet. You finance the development of new technologies. Sometime in the 1950s, you predict that in the next century, there will be a unique network that will allow you to store all the knowledge of the world in a small device. With the help of this network, all people will be able to communicate with each other from different points of the Earth. You're surprised that the internet appears much earlier. Developers create virtual reality worlds with photorealistic graphics. Artificial intelligence is smart enough to rule a small country. Genetic engineering allows us to clone people and mix our bodies with robots. The first cyborgs appear. With each passing century, there's less and less space on the planet. You get tired of people and consuming new technologies, and you spend more and more time in your home on the top of Mount Everest. Humanity is taking over Mars and the Moon. Soon, these places aren't enough for people too. In the 4th millennium, scientists create a quantum engine to travel through space. You're among the first people to try this technology and make the jump to another group of planets orbiting a star similar to our solar system. Your ship breaks down and you can't go back. You're left to live alone on a new planet. Your body adapts to the conditions on it, so you don't need oxygen reserves. Then, you learn to breathe without oxygen at all. The cells of your body receive what they need for normal functioning from the surrounding gases. Your skin is getting rougher because of the dusty atmosphere of the planet. And with the increased gravity, you develop incredible strength. You'd become a super person with such a body on Earth. You manage to send a signal into space, and you hope that humanity will catch it. You've been living alone for over 500 years without books, the internet, or any communication. You spend most of the time exploring a lifeless desert world. Using parts and tools of the ship, you create a vegetable garden. You also have a lot of water reserves. During all this time, you realize that you miss the old world and your life before the meteorite fell. Some spaceship picks up your signal and comes for you. You return to your homeworld. Travel between solar systems is now as easily available as travel by subway or bus. You decide to find a planet as similar to Earth as possible to recreate human life there. Using the power of modern telescopes and your knowledge of astronomy, you discover what you've been looking for in the Andromeda Galaxy Nebula. You arrive at the second home and live a human life there. For hundreds of years, you observe people and mentally go back to your past. You protect those people from external threats, like asteroids, but don't interfere in their lives. From time to time, you fly to Earth and other planets for business. Life on the second home is becoming very similar to life on Earth. There are more and more people and cultures. Technologies are emerging. You have completed your goal, and now you want to discover other worlds. You spend the next 5,000 years studying the ever-expanding universe.
So here's the scoop. You're not even born yet, but your parents already know what you're going to look like. In the year 3021, DNA tech is so advanced they can basically pre-program a person. Eye color, hair, face, and nose shape, lips, finger length, body structure – it's as simple as selecting from a drop-down menu, kind of like creating your own character in an RPG. Everyone looks great. No more diets, no more gyms, and a healthy body for everyone. All it takes is a little gene modification and a special liquid full of a couple of million nanobots. Bioengineering and medtech allow people to change their bodies and minds whenever they want. Improved hearing? Done. Now you can hear a fly rub its paws together from the other side of the room. Not that you'd want to. Nanorobots can turn your eyes into binoculars with 100 times zoom. From your 160th floor apartment, you can read the nutrition info on that wrapper lying on the ground. You've got to get a life, pal. Want to fall out of a window and land unharmed? Nanorobots can make it happen. Millions of tiny robots can be sent to cover your bones and muscles if you want to lift a car with one hand. Superheroes aren't really a big thing anymore. Anyone can get superpowers in 3021. And say goodbye to spending years learning a new profession. You don't need to go to college to find a good job. Just download all the skills and knowledge you need. Medical nanorobots can get into your brain and improve your mood. You can become joyful, angry, funny, sad, all in a matter of seconds. The physical brain isn't a mystery anymore, nor is the subconscious mind. That means no more psychologists or psychiatrists. And solving your personal problems? Easy. You have special lenses built into your eyes linked to AI. You can see an analysis of your mind, and AI will even suggest a strategy for improving it. Not getting enough vitamin C? You'll get a notification. Need more protein? Notification. You'll get it. It's awesome! Amazingly, nanorobots open access to your memories. Watch them like movies, any period of your life, anytime you want. You can see happy moments in perfect detail, or permanently delete anything you'd rather not see anymore. Genetic engineering makes it possible to create not only modified humans, but also animals. Scientists bring back extinct fish, birds, and mammals. You can even grow your very own pet from scratch. A dog, cat, small elephant, dinosaur, whatever you want. And if you don't like cleaning up a mess, pick up a pet robot that looks and acts just like a real animal, without all the annoying stuff. In 3021, your body can live for 200 years, but your mind, forever. You can upload your brain data to the cloud. Your way of thinking, habits, attitude, character, memories, your entire personality can be coded and uploaded. You can encode your mind now and download it into a new, modified body, say after you hit your 189th birthday. And this new body doesn't need food or water, only energy. In the future, no one goes hungry. People travel around the galaxy in style. You can upload your consciousness to a computer and beam it over to your other biomechanical body that you had shipped to another planet. If you've got enough money, you can buy several bodies and scatter them in different parts of the galaxy. Then, on your day off, you can teleport your mind to another planet just to get a bit of peace and quiet. If you want to unload your consciousness and download it again in a few hundred years, you've got a choice to make. Be in a 100-year-long dream, or spend the time flying around in an infinite network. You can even put your mind on the internet and do whatever you want. Some people even choose to live inside the web just for a year or two. Matrix, anyone? People have learned to change their surroundings with the help of utility fogs. Imagine a robot the size of a human cell. This robot has several limbs, can change color, temperature, and can connect with other tiny robots. Utility fogs are just trillions of these little guys. They cling to each other and can create any object you want, or they can turn into a sort of hologram, perfect for video calls. The fog can take on any shape. It can be a cup, a painting, a car, a bigger robot, just not anything living. But just because it's the future doesn't mean everyone gets to have fun. This fog tech is crazy expensive. The fogs can create buildings. You can wake up in your beautiful house, go to work, and the house gets automatically folded up and transformed into a small suitcase. Hey there, George Jetson! You can travel around the galaxy with it and transform it into any home you want. Suddenly feel like having a bigger kitchen, different furniture, a rooftop pool, a slide from your bedroom to the kitchen? No problem. And inside your house, things are way different. You don't have to clean up anymore. Dust, dirt, and grime are all taken care of by nanorobots. You're watching a sad movie, crying, going to town on a Kleenex. Then you just toss the used tissue over your shoulder. Right where it lands, your utility fog turns into a small trash can with wheels. It zips over to the kitchen, dumps out the Kleenex, and poof, it disappears. What about an after-movie snack? For centuries, pizza drones have been flying through the streets. At one point, it got a bit ridiculous. There were too many of them. They started crashing into each other and into passing birds. Now, you just order a sandwich or pasta through your special lenses, and the food gets 3D printed. When resources on planet Earth began to run out, people colonized the Moon and Mars. Then, the big breakthrough – a thermonuclear engine, capable of transmigra-nuclear flabba-flabba. Hey, let's just call it a teleporting device. People sent AI robots over to build cities, roads, electrical grids, and water filtration plants. Then, people began to move there permanently. Everyone born on Mars or the Moon was different from us Earthlings. Mars, for example, gets less sunlight than Earth, so Martians have wider pupils. That means if they ever come back to Earth, they'd basically have night vision. But Martians, and people on the Moon, lunatics, have weaker bones. Luckily, they have those handy nanorobots to help them. But with these new discoveries come new risks and dangers. Uploading your consciousness can go horribly wrong. You risk facing virtual viruses that can imprison you in a virtual cage. Many attackers use programs that can erase your mind, just like a plain old file on your desktop. Those nanorobots, they can still be defective sometimes, and instead of upgrading your body, not great. Moving to other planets is crazy risky. We sometimes have to abandon cities on Mars because there's suddenly a 300-year-long dust storm. And space travel, sorry to tell you, never stops being dangerous. Even in 3021, there are loads of forces in the universe that scientists still don't understand. Say you buy a modified robo-body and send it to a beautiful new Martian city. You're on Earth, and you upload your consciousness to a computer and send it on over to the new body. The weather is perfect, the sunsets are epic. Suddenly, a huge asteroid smashes into your house. These kinds of things happen in 3021. The way we live now seems exotic to the people of the future. To breathe and live in a natural body, to eat natural food, to take a real water shower, to learn new info by reading. That stuff freaks them out. At some point, humans learn to travel through time, but immediately ban the new technology. Humanity's living in a utopia, apart from the occasional asteroid ruining that robot body you saved up for a whole year to buy, and any change in the past could mean the end of it. Instead of traveling to the past or the future, people create virtual simulations of their favorite time periods. The most popular simulations? Just going back in time and living a day as an ordinary person in 2021. Powerful quantum computers analyze your genes, calculate what you would have looked like, and recreate an exact you. Life was so much simpler 1,000 years ago. Me? I'm going to 1977. Disco, the Bee Gees, glitter balls, the golden age of music. For some of us.
Let's talk about cyberpunk, a really cool genre of science fiction that started in the early 1980s. Its pioneer writers were really interested in how technology was changing society, especially with all the digital evolution happening at that time. One of the writers, Bruce Sterling, wrote an introduction to a book called Mirror Shades, which was like a guide to cyberpunk. He said that this genre is all about looking at technology in a new way, not just for science fiction writers, but for regular people too. It's like imagining a world where high-tech stuff and the cool underground culture mix together. The heroes of cyberpunk stories are mostly rebellious people who stand up against big companies and the boring mainstream. They believe in being unique and doing their own thing, even when the world tries to contain their efforts. These heroes are really good at taking things from popular culture and using them to express their own ideas and interests. They also know how to use computers to find out secret information and spread messages that go against the system. These days, cyberpunk themes are seen in more than just literature. You can find their influence in things like movies, video games, and even fashion. It does make you wonder though, could the future truly turn out to be what cyberpunk writers predicted? Truth is, all the cyberpunk literature is packed with mind-blowing technology that might just become a reality one day. Like augmented reality, for instance. Now this might sound far-fetched, but we're actually getting closer to experience AR in our daily lives. I mean, some companies are already offering such devices. Right now, they're mostly used for gaming and entertainment, but soon enough, we might use them for virtual training, education, and even shopping for a new car or checking out a house. Next up, smart clothes. In cyberpunk video games, people are rocking these stylish garments that not only look cool, but also offer some serious protection. We're not quite there yet, but smart clothes are becoming a thing in our world too. You've probably heard of smartwatches and fitness trackers, right? Well, imagine clothing that can monitor your body's movements, suggest healthy habits, and adjust your body temperature. Some fashion brands are already exploring this exciting field. Now let's dive into virtual reality. In one particular cyberpunk story, there's a feature where you can customize your own virtual reality experience. It's like stepping into someone else's shoes and reliving their memories. Now, VR is already pretty amazing in our world. We use it for medical purposes, gaming, and tourism. And here's something even cooler. Imagine being able to feel things in virtual reality. Yeah, it's called haptic technology, and it's being developed to make VR even more immersive. You could use it to control machines, learn in a virtual classroom, or even attend a concert with friends who are miles away. Last but not least, we have artificial intelligence. In a cyberpunk scenario, AI is everywhere, from brain analysis to taxis with intelligent controllers. Now, we might not have all that advanced AI just yet, but we're definitely making progress. You're probably familiar with all those virtual assistants featured on smartphones. Well, imagine them getting even smarter. AI is expected to be integrated into so many aspects of our lives, like fridges that can automatically order groceries when we're running low, self-driving cars, and delivery drones. And hey, AI is already helping companies suggest personalized content based on certain preferences. In the future, it might even help us find the perfect recipe for dinner or recommend the ideal cosmetic product just for us. Then, there's the potential for a brain-computer interface, or BCI for short. In a cyberpunk world, it's like a special connection between our brains and the internet that would allow people to virtually explore using just their minds. In the real world, scientists are already working on developing BCI systems. They can read the signals from our brains and turn them into commands. So instead of using a keyboard or a mouse, we might be able to control objects just by thinking. Right now, these BCI devices are being used in research settings, but someday they could be used to support people. They could help with regaining useful functions and improve rehabilitation. It doesn't stop there, though. BCI could also help professionals like pilots and surgeons. It could make their natural skills even better and help them do their jobs with even more precision. But, there are also some things we need to be careful about when it comes to this cyberpunk technology. In the cyberpunk world, there are serious problems to consider. One of the concerns, for instance, is that if we rely too much on technology, it might start making decisions for us. We might become less skilled at day-to-day tasks because we let the machines do everything for us. That's why we should focus on using our own resources to make our own choices. Another thing we need to watch out for is protecting our information. All sorts of security breaches are already happening all over the world. We need to make sure we have strong measures in place to keep our information safe. Science and technology are moving at an incredible pace these days. It's hard to pinpoint what the future might look like, but you surely have some sort of scenario in mind. Maybe you envision a world where robots and AIs, controlled by a handful of powerful corporations or individuals, dominate the scene with unjust power structures. Or perhaps you picture sprawling cities filled with skyscrapers and flying cars, shrouded in perpetual darkness. And maybe the future seems bleak, where only a privileged few have access to nature, while the rest struggle to make ends meet on a harsh planet. In the cyberpunk world, our planet is either on the brink of a disaster or has already fallen into complete ruin. The stories consistently revolve around dominance and control, whether it's between the rich and the poor, corporations and the market, or humans and the AI robots they create. Cyberpunk is all about systematic and oppressive inequality. It's also about a future where most humans live in a highly mechanized society that disconnects them from the rest of the natural world. In this potential future, all the amazing technologies we've created don't really improve the lives of most people. In fact, they make things worse. It's not all bad, though. Sci-fi can be more than just entertainment. It has a way of inspiring and shaping our real world. Throughout history, designers have drawn inspiration from sci-fi for inventions for things like flip phones, self-driving cars, and even the concept of the metaverse. There are also many interesting alternatives for the future. Ever heard of solarpunk? It's also a genre of speculative fiction, but one that envisions technology and the environment evolving together. The solar part is all about the power of solar energy, while the punk part puts it in the same awesome group as other sci-fi genres like cyberpunk. So what does solarpunk actually look like? Well, imagine visually stunning utopias that are all about the environment and being positive. In solarpunk worlds, they've totally sorted out how to correctly use the planet's resources, or are actively working together to fix it. It's all about coming together and being friends in the fight against a bleak future. When you enter a solarpunk universe, you'll be greeted by groovy green tech, cities that are super walkable, and tons of lush greenery. It's all about living in harmony with nature, while still rocking the latest technology. It's like the complete opposite of cyberpunk, which is all about grimy cities, greedy corporations, and fear of outsiders. Solarpunk is all about putting people first and recognizing the amazing connection between human intelligence and the Earth. One of the major influences on solarpunk is Art Nouveau. This art movement is all about embracing organic and earthly shapes, and it fits perfectly with solarpunk's vibe. Another cool reference for solarpunk is the arts and crafts movement from the late 19th century. It was all about rebelling against unnecessary waste.
Imagine that it's the year 2025, and our planet has completely changed. Rising sea levels, extreme weather, and the ocean becoming more and more acidic are just some of the problems people have been dealing with for years. But in one of the world's largest coastal cities, the situation has become too serious. It was a sunny day in June when a massive earthquake shook the city to its core. The ground beneath people's feet heaved and shook, and buildings swayed dangerously. People ran through the streets in panic, trying to find safety. But as soon as the ground settled, the inhabitants of the city realized the real danger. A wall of water, almost 100 feet high, was rushing toward the city, propelled by the force of the earthquake. The tsunami hit the city with unimaginable force. Entire neighborhoods were wiped out, and thousands of people lost their lives. But here's where things get interesting. In the aftermath of the disaster, the city's authorities realized that they couldn't just rebuild the city as it was before. They needed to be better prepared for the next potential disaster. And so they came up with an incredibly ambitious project to build an underwater city. The goal was to create a self-sufficient, sustainable city beneath the ocean's surface that could withstand any natural disaster. The underwater city would be powered by renewable energy, using tidal power and underwater solar panels. It would be designed to withstand extreme weather and would have its own emergency response systems. The project attracted some of the world's top scientists, engineers, and architects. They worked tirelessly to design the city and carefully considered every aspect of the project. The underwater city would have everything that a typical city had, from schools and hospitals to stores and restaurants. There would be underwater farms where fish and other marine creatures could grow. The city would even have its transportation system, advanced submarines, and underwater tunnels connecting different parts of the city. The project became a shining beacon of hope for people. It showed that even in the face of disaster, we could come together to create something amazing. But as time went on, the project no longer seemed so perfect. The cost of the project turned out to be higher than planned. There were also concerns about how long such a project would exist. After all, the ocean is very unpredictable. And still, the team of scientists and engineers never gave up. After years of trial and error, they finally created the perfect underwater city, a marvel of engineering, a self-contained ecosystem that could sustain people indefinitely. The buildings were constructed from a material that could withstand the immense pressure at the bottom of the ocean, and the city itself was powered by a network of advanced hydroelectric turbines. It wasn't long before the first wave of colonists arrived at the underwater city. There were different people in this group, and each of them had their own reasons for choosing to live in this new world beneath the waves. Some were adventurers seeking a new world to explore, while others were hoping to escape natural disasters raging on dry land. But despite their differences, all these people shared a common goal: to build a new society, one that was in harmony with the natural world. The underwater city flourished, and new discoveries were made every day. The colonists developed new technologies and ways to tame the power of the ocean. They learned to farm the sea and started cultivating underwater gardens that provided them with a steady food supply. But living underwater was challenging. People felt isolated and even claustrophobic. The situation came to a head when a group of activists started to protest against the city's expansion plans. They argued that the underwater city was a threat to the environment it was meant to protect, and that the colonists should focus on reducing their impact on the delicate underwater life. The protests sparked a heated debate among the colonists. Some of them argued that the survival of the city depended on its growth and expansion. Others claimed that the city needed to prioritize the protection of the environment above all else. In the end, a compromise was reached. The city would continue to expand, but the main priority would be sustainability and a responsible attitude to nature. The colonists would do their best to reduce their impact on the environment by using new technologies and following strict conservation rules. And they would also remember the importance of protecting the ocean and its fragile ecosystem. Years went by, and the underwater city continued to thrive. New generations of colonists were born, and they grew up in a world entirely different from the one their ancestors had known. They never saw the world on the surface, but appreciated the beauty and complexity of the underwater world they called home. And as the years passed, the city became a symbol of hope for a world struggling with the devastating effects of climate change. It showed that despite all difficulties, people could come together to create a better world. It is a reminder that the future is not set in stone, and that we can build it sustainably and in harmony with the natural world.
Okay, so you've seen the movies and read the books on time travel. Most of them tell stories about entering some futuristic boxes, and in the blink of an eye, you're in some different epoch. For now, this is just sci-fi. But there are ways to make time travel possible, at least theoretically. We just don't have the technology figured out yet. For starters, time travel to the future could be achieved by traveling at high speeds, but not just getting a ticket on the superhighway kind of speed. This is based on Einstein's theory of special relativity. It explains that time slows down for objects that move at really high speeds. And the good news is scientists have already tested this theory, and it looks promising. They did it with the help of two identical clocks. One was placed on a jet, and one stayed on the ground. They found that the clock on the jet ticked slower than the one on the ground because of how fast the jet was moving. The faster an object is moving, the more time will slow down for it. Currently, the fastest speeds achieved by human technology are seen in a special type of particles called neutrinos. Some of these can move at almost the speed of light. At these speeds, 1 second for the protons is equal to 11 months for us. Now, we might be able to time travel to the future with the use of gravity, too. This idea is based on Einstein's findings, namely his theory of general relativity. Now, this theory explains that the stronger gravity is, the more slowly time moves. This means that as you get closer to the center of the Earth, the strength of gravity increases. And if you think about it like that, time actually passes more slowly for your feet than for your head. Now, is that why I'm always late for stuff? Good excuse. This effect has been measured too, with the help of the same strategy with two identical clocks. Scientists placed them on shelves at different heights and measured the rate of ticking. The clock on the lower shelf ticked more slowly because it experienced a slightly stronger gravity. But this option comes with a catch. To be able to travel to the far future, you'll need to find a place with extremely strong gravity, like a black hole. That's a point in space where the gravity has so much force that even light cannot escape it. There, gravity becomes so intense that matter gets squeezed into a tiny space. The closer you get to the black hole, the more slowly time moves. However, traveling via a black hole is very dangerous, mostly because it's a one-way ticket. Once you cross its edges, there's no coming back. Now, here's a fun fact. The GPS systems we use on our phones and in our cars already have to account for time dilation effects in order to work properly. That's because of the speed of the satellites they use and the gravity they feel here on Earth. Without these corrections, your phone's GPS wouldn't be able to pinpoint your location on Earth very precisely. Meanwhile, the third option has less to do with the universe's unknown forces and more to do with our own bodies. Scientists are trying to find ways to time travel to the future by slowing down the body's own processes. It's not time travel per se. You wouldn't technically be going anywhere. But if your body stays put for a long period of time, you could eventually wake up in the future. Some animals, like bears and squirrels, can slow down their metabolism during hibernation, which means they don't need as much food and oxygen to survive. Specialists are trying to figure out if humans can do the same thing. They're working on ways to make people go into a short-term hibernation for a few hours to begin with. This could be helpful for medical emergencies too, in order to help a person before they can safely get to the hospital. In 2005, scientists were able to slow down the metabolism of mice by exposing them to a small amount of special gas. However, when they tried to do the same thing with larger animals, it did not work as effectively. Our fourth option of traveling through time is really unique. It involves a special type of shortcuts that may exist in our universe called wormholes. Now, before we move on, let's try to understand what they are. You'll need to picture two balls and a trampoline. If there's no pressure applied on the trampoline, it stays flat. Now imagine the two balls placed on the trampoline symmetrically. If you look at them from this perspective, there's no possibility of them ever touching. But if you put enough pressure on the trampoline between the two balls, this flexible fabric can stretch so much that the two objects might potentially touch each other. The same thing happens with stars in different star systems. They're big enough to curve space around them. That's why most planets tend to orbit around a star. The tunnel between those 2 points would be a wormhole. These wormholes could be used to travel long distances, like 1 billion light years, or even visit different times. Now, many scientists, like Stephen Hawking, think that wormholes might appear and disappear, but be very small, smaller than atoms. The problem is that we don't know how to catch one and make it bigger so that people can use it. This would take a lot of energy, and we don't know if it's even possible. Some astronomers say that even if we could find a wormhole and enter it, it would rapidly collapse on itself. Even the tiniest bit of extra mass, like that of our bodies for example, can result in the wormhole slamming shut, like a rubber band that's been stretched too much. Now, the fifth solution for time traveling was proposed by an American physicist named Ron Mallett. It involves one resource that we know for sure is abundant in the universe – light. The scientist proposed a theory about time travel that would use a rotating cylinder of light. He believes that if something was dropped inside this swirling cylinder, it could be moved in both space and time, similar to how a bubble moves when you swirl it with a spoon in your coffee. According to Mallett, the right shape of the cylinder could allow for traveling to both the past and the future. The physicist has been trying to raise money for an experiment to test his theory. This experiment involves dropping tiny particles, called neutrons, through a circular arrangement of spinning lasers. However, other scientists say Mallett's theory is impossible and there's no need to test it further. Well, even if we eventually figured out a way to travel back in the past or to the future, would it be safe? Scientists have been talking about a problem called the paradox of time travel for a long time. The main question is what would happen if you went back in time and did something that changed the future. However, a new study from researchers from the University of Queensland says that this problem might not be real after all. The scientists have done some calculations and found out that even if you had changed something in the past, the timeline would still end up the same way. Another variation of this problem is called the grandfather paradox. Imagine going back in time and preventing your own grandfather from having offspring. Come to think of it, it automatically means you shouldn't exist in the first place. If your grandparents didn't have your parents, how can you exist at all? Well, these days scientists are certain that even if you did experience something like that, you'd still exist in the present. That's because the timeline that already exists has a way of adjusting itself, regardless of where people are in time and what they do. Or somehow get 1.21 gigawatts in a DeLorean and make like Marty McFly.